So you were thinking about buying a home in 2022.
You serious?
And if you had done so earlier in the year, it would have been a good deal. It seemed like you could still get those rates despite everything going to hell and the likelihood of an oncoming recession, but then something changed. And with interest rates at new highs, you may be wondering if you didn't purchase that house before spring of 2022, is it too late now? Welcome back to Wrestling with Finance. This is the YouTube finance channel that is for people who wrestle with finance in the past and look to do better with it in the future. And I encourage you guys, if you want to start getting on your own personal finance journey, I have plenty of links down in the description box below for you. In fact, while the stock market is down and we may be at the bottom of a dip, or we don't know yet, it could be there, but why wait and see when it goes back up that you waited too long to do it? Take advantage of some of those links down in the description box below to get some free stocks from Webull that could be worth anywhere up to $1,800 per stock. And it's essentially like free money, so you might as well check it out. But we got some more important things to talk about right now, like why in the world you can't get a house. Now, earlier this year, and actually for the last year or so, the general thought is that because of what happened during the pandemic and supply chain issues and the cost of materials going up and all of these other things, that the housing market would go down, lagging maybe 6 months or so after the other markets, like how the stock market has gone down and like how other investments have gone down, including cryptocurrency. Well, that all turned out not to be true. And in fact, a lot of the reports are saying now that not only are housing prices not likely going down anytime soon in 2022, they might not be going down for a couple of years. And that's why I made this video, because I know there's a lot of people who've been probably asking this question: why are the housing prices not going down? If we're increasing the supply, the law of supply and demand, doesn't that mean that the prices would go down? Why is it not? How is that possible? And why is the universe conspiring against you? Probably the primary factor is the fact that the supply, even though supply chains have been improving and the cost of materials is down, we're still not making a lot of houses in the United States. One factor is how many new homes are being created, and the honest truth is not a lot are being created. And yeah, even though we have all those improvements after the pandemic, the one thing you have to consider is that a lot of people are not having as much money as they did 2 years ago when the interest rates were lower. And even with the interest rates rising, the affordability of houses is becoming out of whack, which means less people are interested in buying, which means the demand goes down, which means companies are not going to rush to build a lot of new houses when there isn't that much demand for them because most people can't afford them. And this does depend on where you are in the country, and we are seeing in some parts of America that this isn't the case, but the majority of the country is experiencing this weird trend of increased interest rates along with continuing increases in the price of the home. Realistically, if you are dead set on buying a house in 2022, you are going to be paying considerably more for it now than you were a year ago or even 6 months ago because of all the factors that go into it. Plus, you're also going to have to take in consideration the maintenance and upkeep of the home because, as we said, inflation has hit, supplies are more expensive, so if you have to repair a toilet, if you have to hire contractors to do it, they're costing more money. If you try to even do it yourself, that costs more money to buy tools, to buy supplies, to do the work yourself, to buy spackle, to buy glue, to buy anything. Everything from external repairs to lawn maintenance, to painting the walls, to putting that pole in the basement that you always wanted. All of that stuff is going to cost you a lot more money now than it did before. So you're tacking that also on to the cost of homes, and why a lot of people are saying again, it's just not affordable. Plus, you also have to take in consideration that other consumer goods like food and entertainment and clothes and everything else, those are also going up in price, which also means that you have less money to afford to pay for a mortgage. But even with all these factors, it goes back to what I said at the beginning. The main reason is the fact that the supply is just not there. And even at that, you're going to have to hope that we don't get yet another of the 3 or 4 now in the past 2 years once in a generation events, whether it's a war over in Europe, whether it's a global virus, whether it's an outbreak in violence in the country, or whatever the heck is going to be. Plus we have elections and stuff, so you never know what's going to happen with that. All of those factor into the price of homes. And again, this is why a lot of analysts are saying right now, they can't really see the prices going down anytime soon. So some of you might be going, aha, that means I should go and just rent then. And that might be a good idea. A lot of renters right now, what they're doing is they're signing multi-year leases. So what that does is kind of lock in your rent for 2, 3, or 4 years, however long you can get the lease for, that you're not going to experience those huge price fluctuations. On the other hand, because fewer people are looking to buy homes and are looking to rent, guess what that means? There's more competition for you when you go to look to rent, and landlords know this. So you may lock in a good price for rent for 2 or 3 years if you have, again, one of those multi-year leases, but keep in mind that the landlord is probably eventually going to want you to either pay a lot more once that lease is up, or for you to move out, because there are plenty of new tenants who will be more than happy to pay the higher price. The funny thing about it though is that during times of economic volatility like this, rent prices tend to stabilize. They tend not to fluctuate too much. And that is something that you could probably take advantage of. So if you were thinking about buying a house in 2022 and you're looking around and going, man, this is just too expensive and there's too many factors and there's too much uncertainty with it, I'm going to sit out for another year or two before I buy a new home. In fact, out of most of the states in the country, there was only one state that I saw that actually had a reduction in rental rates, and that was New Mexico. So if you're thinking about going somewhere really cheap and being able to live and pay rent and not have to deal with all the headaches of being a home ownership, New Mexico is seeming like a good place to go, maybe even with an RV. At least you cannot be harassed by your landlord there.
This is my own private domicile and I will not be harassed. Bitch!
Again, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not your financial advisor, but if I was in the market and really bound and determined to buy a home in 2022, I'd probably find a very competent real estate agent with a lot of referrals, preferably from somebody in a family that my family members or friends or somebody I was close to knew to suggest to me, and really follow through with everything that they say and make sure they're trying to get the best deal for you. And this is really more for primary residences. If you're looking to invest in homes, that's a whole other can of worms. Might not also be the best time to do that, but this again is for people who have wrestled with finance in the past. So you're likely going to be buying a new home, and I can just say if it was me, I might hold out a little bit more and try to get at least, if not rent control, try to get a place that would allow me to have a multi-year lease, and then wait it out for a couple years, and maybe 2024, see where the market is, see if home prices have finally started to go back down again and become reasonable, and if we can get interest rates at a reasonable rate, that might be the time I would look. But otherwise, if I was in that situation right now, I'd probably kind of shy away from buying a new home in 2022. But that's just my thoughts about it. I want to know what you guys think about it. I know some of you have written comments in the past that you're thinking about buying new homes and have asked questions about it. What has your experience been looking at the market right now? Let your voice be heard in the comment box below. So thank you guys very much again for checking out the video, and I will see you again here on Wrestling with Finance. Be safe.